Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, B Farm. Thinking right out here in the lab in the wee hours of the morning. It's 3:05. Yeah, I don't know if it's late night or early morning, but I'm here doing what I do for you. And I just opened the book. I had looking through and checked out my girl. The Greeks call her Isis. I call her Aset. We're gonna study her wisdom practice because she got her whole thing was knowledge and wisdom. So let's talk about her, my girl. All right, we're gonna talk about. Let's start with the yoga of wisdom. That's what Mayat represents: knowledge, wisdom, intuitive knowledge. Okay, and she was the first teacher of who? Haru, her son. All right, let's go. Racism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories. For life, I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? So let's get there together. I asked the question, do you know you? Well, when I get through, that's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. Excuse me. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. So you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm your spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and always to. Mayat, be true. Speaking of Mayat, this is her sister, Aset. They call her Isis, and I don't like that, but I deal with it. Again, just so you know, the original names are what I like to keep our people. The name that the Greeks gave them, I don't particularly care for that. But so let's talk about P-Funk's philosophy on what is yoga of wisdom. Aset represents knowledge. So this is all about obtaining it and how to obtain it, and more importantly, to use it. The word yoga is a Sanskrit term which has been assimilated into English language that means to unite one's individual consciousness, yours, with the universal consciousness, aka God. Well, how do you do that? Good question. Now we're talking. So, the ancient Egyptians' equivalent word to uh, yoga is sema, Sema, or smart, SMA. Okay, smartawi. Okay, but there are four major disciplines in the practice of yoga of Sema, not the yoga that you practice in India. This book, is dedicated to the study of yoga of wisdom. So that means we're going to learn something. Okay, put your thinking hat on, and we will explore the most ancient teachings of yoga, which relate to developing one's wisdom that leads one to what we call spiritual enlightenment. It's all mental. Thus, we must begin in ancient Egypt. Why? Because that time and place is when and where the evidence first emerges. In the present human history of the practice of wisdom as a discipline for developing intellectual stability for the purpose of enlightening one's mind to contact or communicate with what? One's higher self, aka God. There's ways to do that. Religion practice their way, but Egyptians shows you yoga that you can practice a philosophy. I'm not religious, I'm a philosopher. I live by a philosophy. Enlightenment is the term that we use now to describe, you ready, the highest level of spiritual awakening. Well, what that means? That means you know you and God are one. You know thyself. That's what it means. And everybody in Egypt lived to do just that. So they wasn't running around ignorant, not know who he was, or just doing a bunch of nonsense. Everybody lived pretty much a good, fruitful life, harmonious, okay? Learning, living, and practicing what they're learning. Not a bunch of crazy nonsense like we doing today, but again, free will does that, and ignorance turns loose. This is what we got. All right. But what it means is you are able to attain such a level of spiritual, not biblical knowledge, spiritual awareness mentally, that one is able to discover the underlying unity of the entire universe, as well as the fact that the source of all creation is the same source from within your innermost self, meaning you, within every human heart. We all have the same spirit. Different conscious, yeah, that's your own. That's the individuality. That's your free will. Do with it what you want. But there's consequences and there's things that you can learn to use it the proper way where you can benefit from it, okay? But it is, again, a state of ecstasy. Some call it bliss, which transcends all concepts of descriptions. You can't describe the feeling, so we use the best words we could, okay? And which does not diminish and is not affected by the passage of time or your physical condition. Your spirit don't age. Your spirit don't feel pain. Your spirit don't go through nothing. It's just spirit. It gives you life. And everything after that is on you. So it is that state of enlightenment. You have to come enlightened with knowledge of self. That the doctrines, that the absolute proof of the teachings of what we call mystical spirituality are to be found, and it's not in the books, doctrines, or dogmas. It's inside here and here. Heart, mind, coherence. Your heart and your mind should become one. That's how you reach your higher consciousness. This is because intellectual knowledge, yeah, scholarly knowledge, biblical knowledge, street knowledge, all that's good, all that's fine. But you should have self-knowledge. Why? It supersedes all of those other ones. That's why. And it's only the beginning of your road to what? Enlightenment, which leads to true knowledge of self. Knowledge of everything else is cool, but the most important knowledge is self. There are two forms of knowledge. Again, here we go. Pay attention. Intellectual. Theoretical, that means conceptualized, thinking, observe. And then you got absolute experiential gnosis knowledge that you have from experience. I can get intellectual knowledge from reading books, yeah, but I had to practice it to get the true experience and learn the knowledge that I know I have it by practicing and implementing it. That's how you master it. And but the teachings of yoga and the advanced stages of religion. Again, if religion, I say, is baby food. It's good to start out, but you ain't gonna end up with that. Why? You need more. That's not enough. That's why. And religion can, watch this, lead a person to have their mystical experience. Again, if you follow the rules, I'm gonna break it down religion for you again. If it's done correctly, its job is to get you there. The people who teach it, who misunderstood it, misinterpreted it, they giving it to you not to get you where you're gonna go. Why? They got the wrong idea and they got it in wrong interpretation of a lot of knowledge that they was given. So the truth about the transcendental, or what we know to be immortal or eternal nature of our soul, and the existence of God are the same thing. We need to know that the ancients did. They didn't have a problem with trying to find God. No, all that nonsense. We didn't need that. Religion came in with all this bunch of nonsense. Excuse me. But this is what differentiates the practice of yoga from the intellectual philosophies and debates, cults, or religious dogmas. It's set to what? Get you knowledge of self. It's set for you to practice the philosophy set forth, and you will get where you want to go. It's been practicing. They're still doing it today in India. They're a whole lot more spiritual than us. Better people. Why? You don't hear about a whole bunch of crazy nonsense. Why do people live in harmony amongst each other? Again, but in yoga, there is no exhortation to believe in this fictitious God that they set forth to you in anything. What's this? I don't have to believe nothing, anything other than what I can prove through what? My own experience. That's gnosis. I can read every book you done wrote. Speaking of reading and books, I got the book now, my new book from Manly P. Hall, right? I'm dying to get into this book. I can't wait to get into this book. There's a whole lot of meat on this. There's a whole lot of meat on this bone, and I'm gonna pick it clean in my time. So I look forward to that. You get excited about a book. I do. Some people, but I'm excited about learning. I got information. I'm about to get some more knowledge. That's all. And half the stuff in there, I probably know it, but the other half I don't. So I can't say I know everything, but I'm gonna find out what I don't know. How about that? That's called learning. And even masters get better at what they need to be doing. In order to do this, all that is necessary for you to master oneself is for you to follow the disciplines. Practice them daily, which have been scientifically outlined since many thousands of years ago. This is a proven philosophy. This ain't willy-nilly haphazard to try to pseudoscience. No, this is the real deal. That's why I went and got it. Why? I want, like my man Frank Lucas. I'm going to the source. Kemet is the source of knowledge and wisdom. That's what I know. Okay? Spiritual concepts started in Kemet. We first must begin with our ancient Kemet because that is where spiritual wisdom was first revered as the mother of all that is good and divine. This is what I'm going to understand. We've been doing this for a long time. I don't need to follow some nonsense 2,000-year-old religion that y'all swear is every. It's a waste of my time. I'm giving you what our ancients used for thousands of years. How about that? Religion ain't been 2,000 years old, and it's going to hell already. Why? Because it's lies. Truth stays around. That's why. And they shut it down. The truth didn't stop being. They shut it down. We don't want no more truth being known. We're going to keep the people ignorant. So we're giving religion. Calm down. I take that personal. But again, it started in Kemet, and it was so important. Watch this. It was so important that it was personified. Every individual had to know it in the form of what we call the goddess Aset. Her name is Aset. Aset is the ancient Egyptian name for the goddess who became popular. How? Under her designation as Isis. No, the Greeks and Romans called her Isis. Again, Isis by the Romans and the Greeks. If her name is Aset, it means just that, wisdom. Don't take it and tell me it means something else. I'm not answering for that. That's why the book, Isis. No, it's Aset. Sorry. Aset is referred to as the goddess of wisdom. Intellect. She's the wise one. She's the one that you need to get to have knowledge of self. Intuitive knowledge. She knows all. Okay? And because she affected what? The resurrection of her husband Asar. Her husband Roman and Greeks called him Osiris. Another one that upsets me. Why you keep changing the people's damn names? To confuse the people who gonna follow. I know the concept, so I just want to make sure you get understanding. They changed the names. We didn't go by the name. They called us that. We didn't call ourselves Egyptians. They did. Now we're known as Egyptians. Indians. They went to call themselves Indians. We did. So now they got to take that damn moniker. My last name ain't right. I got to carry that name. Why? That's been handed to me. Ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm a savior. So name is important. Why? If it was given to you, that's the one you take. My brother's name is Lawrence. They call him Larry. Ain't no way in the hell I'll answer to that. That's just personal. Again, name. I got a problem with that. I really got a problem with that changing name thing. Why the hell I'm telling you my name? You gonna call me what you want to call me anyway? Boy, nigga. Okay, those are terminology that y'all throw at us because you don't care about our name. Moving on. No respect. But in order for you to really understand the teaching that we're giving you from Aset, it is from teaching Aset. Now, it will be necessary for you to study the myth yourself of the goddess. I said you should get your understanding. Read up about her. Google, get some information about her. Everybody talking about her. You should find out why everybody talking about her for yourself. Okay. And then you will study her teachings of her temple in order to what? Gain insight into her attributes and the manner in which she imparts her grace and wisdom in the form of intuitional realization of your inner self, aka God. She's the female aspect of wisdom and intuitive knowledge. She's the mate to the spirit, which is your Asar, which is our father. We're Haru. We're the offspring from spirit and wisdom. We are the offspring. When Asar made it with nature, mortality, him and Neptet created what? Discernment. That's Anubis. That's Haru's big brother. Okay, he's the firstborn from Asar too. Okay, so this all knowledge that I acquired from studying and learning, and you use it as you go, and you see how important it is to know these things, so that way you can implement them. You can actually practice them. That's what it's for. What is the yoga of wisdom? Good question. That's the purpose of answering. We ask that question. In order for you to really understand what yoga is, first of all, is what wisdom is, we must understand what life is really all about and the reason for our pain and suffering in our life. You know what that is? Ignorance and desires. When the flesh demands or the ego wants what it wants, it's going to do whatever it needs to do to get what it wants. That's not controlling, okay? That's manipulating from the ego. But most people believe, here we go, if you are a believer, you need to start studying. Why? You need to know. Believe it means you don't know. So if you believe something, get the facts, get the proof, and change your belief to knowing. Okay? So all that I believe in God, no. Get wisdom and understanding and know God from your experience. That's the best way to go. Okay? Moving on. All right. So now most people believe that life is an opportunity. This is what drives me crazy, to amass wealth or sensual pleasures. That means material stuff. Cars, house, money, bank account, okay, fame, everybody want to know your name, everybody know you. But again, and then to catch it off, you got to have pleasures. Well, but I'm old and my thing a little lip. No, we got pills for that. Don't worry about that. That's where y'all at now. So pleasures, physical pleasures is abound. But most people do not reflect upon what? The emptiness in which people feel what? When they seem to attain all their desires that they wanted, or the ultimate destiny of death, which lurks like a shadow over all human beings who are ignorant of themselves, regardless of where they may be at or what they have attained in life. Death still scares them to death. But they do what they do, thinking that's it. No, get knowledge and get understanding, and that death won't be your enemy. You won't fear death. Most people who are ignorant, scared of death. See? But wisdom, knowledge of self, comes from a spiritual point and a mental view. You may be defined as the acquisition. It may be defined as what we call acquisition of what? Knowledge. Knowledge which, when coupled with the experience of life, becomes gnosis. Now you know. You know from what? Your own experience. And that's what life is about. You got to experience this damn thing. We're spiritual beings come here to have a human experience. That's called life that we got to live every day until they turn the lights out in the physical body. But it allows you, the person, to be able to cross over what we philosophically call the ocean of pain and sorrow in life. Getting past the ego, controlling the ego, suppressing it, where every time you want something, you desire, you can't get it, you lose your mind, you get all crazy. Okay, or you do anything to make it happen, so you satisfying your ego again. That's never good. It don't end well for you, never. Okay, so the question of what is yoga wisdom is to get knowledge of self. That's the way you combat ignorance. Okay, so let's talk about this path that we on of yoga. Break it down right quick. I got another page of information. Cool, yeah, we all right. So the discipline, the path of yoga is based on you practicing the disciplines of yoga, and they fall under 5 major categories. They are yoga of wisdom, my favorite, right thinking philosophy. That's what we stand on. Then you have yoga of devotional love. When you become religious in concepts, you love what? God. And I ain't got a problem with y'all. That's y'all philosophy, okay? That's devotional love for God. If having devotion for God, Christ, whatever you want to call him, keeps you doing what you need to do, by all means, knock yourself out. Third one, you got law of meditation. My favorite, right there. I love meditating. The tantric yoga, again, that's the sexual position, the Kama Sutra. That's for people who want to lengthen their sexual pleasure. Told you how to hold your orgasm, all that. Yeah, those are all pleasures. We've been doing that for a long time. That's what art forms, Kama Sutra. Okay, so if that's your thing, go jump in that and learn it, understand it. And my favorite, and this is what another white thing is, yoga of selfless service or righteous actions, living and doing the right thing. That's my favorite. That's classic. Why? You control that. You directly control your words and your actions. Get better at those things, and you'll be rewarded with what? Blessings. Okay? So again, the practice of what? Any of these disciplines would lead to oneness with the supreme consciousness, can be called yoga. Anything that you using to get to God, better yourself, is a yoga philosophy. How about that? Or a yoga concept. Religions are yoga concepts, just on a lower level. I'll break that down to you in 1 second. But if you study, when? Daily. And if what you study is what they call rationalize and reflect upon the teaching. You don't just study just to acquire information. You study to use it. You study to implement it. You study to have it. Like having tools as a carpenter or any craftsman. You got to use those tools. Masonry give you tools at every level. You got to put that in, but this is another lesson. But you have to practice yoga of wisdom if you want intellect. If you want knowledge, you have to practice yoga of wisdom. If you meditate upon the teaching and on your higher self, you are practicing yoga of meditation. I do that every day. If you practice rituals, and most people, Christians and Muslims, y'all practice the ritual which identify you with your spiritual nature, you are practicing yoga of ritual identification. You go to church every week, you go to the mosque, you go to the synagogue, you are practicing that ritual, which is part of, again, the yoga of wisdom and yoga of devotional love, combined together when you are learning and you're showing devotion to God. That's the beautiful thing, okay? But if you develop your physical nature, your psychic energy centers, that's the chakras. I'm in the gym every day working out. I learned one thing from that guy. Well, I learned a lot, but the one thing I'm taking to the grave, a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. I'm in the gym every day, getting a little bit of something, whether it be knowledge, physical workout, whatever. I'm getting a little bit every day. Okay? For those who ain't doing nothing, I'm beating you every time. Why? I'm getting a little bit. I'm not gonna get a lot, but a little bit is always better than none. You are practicing. Okay, if you practicing opening the chakras, the Kundalini concept, you're practicing serpent power, aka Kundalini or Uranus. That's activate the serpent power in you that's dormant. And when you start living right, it will activate and go up. Okay? So yoga, which is a part of the tantric yoga, again, if you practicing living according to the teachings of what we call ethical moral behavior and offering a selfless service, what you doing? Right thinking philosophy. You are practicing yoga of action, aka Maya, and that's right thinking philosophy. And you have to do it in your daily life. That's what I'm showing you every day. I do just that. That's what I'm telling you. And if you practice turning your attention toward the divine, toward God, done that years ago, by developing what they call your love for the divine. Christians love Christ. I ain't got a problem with that. I love the divine, the God of my understanding. And then it is called what we know to be devotional yoga or yoga of divine love. You can practice these philosophies. They got them for that reason. And if you practice and master all 5 of them, you lead to what they call integral yoga, aka mastery of all 5 categories of yoga. And you learn to use them intricately daily. Why? You know them. It's better to have something and don't need it than to need something and don't have it. So it's better to have all 5 categories of yoga disciplines mastered for yourself, and now you're good to go. In any situation, you're able to handle yourself. Trust me. And this is called what we practice of yoga. Okay, the practitioner of yoga is called the yogini, which is the males. The yogini is the female. And the one who has attained what we call culmination of yoga, aka mastery of it, is the union of with the divine. You are called a yogi. You have direct connection to God. Just like ministers and pastors, my pastor, God downloads his information daily. I understand. But in this manner, now yoga has been developed into many disciplines that you can practice and master. And they can be used, again, intricately. Whatever you need to know, devotion to love, you show that. Devotion to wisdom, act like you know, self-service, doing the right thing. They all have a purpose, and once you understand them, now you have mastery over oneself. Okay? And the goal, what is? Use them, they have been developed in many disciplines, which may be used, and again, in the integral fashion, in order to achieve the same goal. Different direction, different concept, but one goal is to what? Enlightenment. Religion goes to get enlightenment. I told you that. So therefore, you the aspirant, right thinker, you should learn about what all the paths of yoga, and then choose those elements and concentrate on which best suits your personality. And you practice them all in the integral balanced way, and you get mastery of all of them in the same balanced way. Maya represents balance, no good and the bad of any situation. Y'all call it critical thinking, pros and cons. Yeah, but that's everything. It ain't just picking. No, it ain't got to be critical. Everything you make should be the understanding what's good and what's bad about it. Your decision should be able to make what's good about it and benefit from it. If you make a bad decision, you ain't gonna benefit. You're gonna suffer. Simple. Better decision making lessens your life suffering. Let me wrap it up for you. In all forms of any spiritual practice, be it religion, anything else, they all are directed to the goal for assisting every individual who practices it to what? To discover their true essence, aka themselves, of the universe, both externally up there and in a physical creation, and internally within your human heart. This is the deciding factor. But as the very root of human consciousness here, thus many terms are used to describe the attainment of this goal of what we call spiritual knowledge and the eradication of spiritual ignorance. Right there. My purpose as a right thinking philosopher is to get you to eradicate the ignorance out of yourself. That's your job. That's what you got to do. I'm just trying to give you the reason and means to do that with. And showing you I have. But some of these terms are, you ready? These are all terms different, but it means the same thing. Enlightenment, gaining wisdom through ourselves. Resurrection, meaning coming again from, in Masonic order, we got to kill the old you, and raise you up into new order of Masonic law. So it's got resurrection, bringing you from a dead level to a living level on the square in Masonic order. But resurrection is bringing something back from the dead. Okay, resurrected it. And I sat with the queen of that. She resurrected her son and her husband. And salvation is gained from what you do. Again, karma takes care of that. When you living wrong, you get what you deserve. You living right, you get salvation. You get a pass. But they also call it, how about this one? The kingdom of heaven. And they would say, find the kingdom of heaven first and everything else will be given to you. I got that concept. I understand it. And then India is called moksha, or liberation. And the Buddha is called Buddha conscious. Okay? In China, it's called being one with the Tao. And the T-A-O, when people who don't study, I guess, don't, the T and the D was swapped out. In Egypt, the D is the T sound. In China, the T is the D sound. So it's the Tao. I hear guys say, oh, it's the Tao. No, it's not. Just a little tidbit, help you out. But and again, another one, self-realization, coming to grips, or my favorite, know thyself. That's mine, right there. That's my calling card, etc. But all these names has been to describe the transcendental essence of God, Allah, Asar, Aset, Krishna, Buddha, the higher self, supreme being, and many others. God goes by all those names. And everybody had their concept and the theology that serving the God that they choose. I don't have a problem with that at all. That's free will. But the things that you do across every one of them is the same. You gotta do good works. How about that? That's what I tell you. 42 confessions, no matter what you're doing, these are things you got to do no matter what you profess, okay? That's the concept. Hope you understand the path of yoga. I'll be back with what they call integral yoga. It's about to get serious. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Right thinkers, I'll be right back. And in closing, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day, so I never know my right thinkers who understand what the yoga of wisdom is in the path of yoga have passed away. It's all about yoga and getting that self-knowledge from your girl, I said, the original teacher.